Okay. I don't know how to start, but I'm just gonna randomly yap about just things that are on my mind, I guess. Um, it's kind of like a personal journal in a sense, where I just kind of talk. um, and I guess I also do some journaling, like at night around this time. I try to journal and I try to write down some of my thoughts, my ideas, things that I want to manifest or things I hope for in the future because I tend to stress a lot about the future. So, yeah, and I think it does help me in a sense. It does kind of allow me to get my thoughts together and allows me to be more optimistic. I think I have like a very optimistic mindset where I just try to see the positive, try to look more positively in the future. So that's like a trait that I kind of like about myself in a way. I'm also trying to focus more on like seeing the good in myself, being kind of having a low self esteem like throughout my life kind of has been a struggle of mine. So I'm trying to better myself in that regard. Um, but I guess I also want to talk about too maybe how I'm not too sure about like what I want to do, what I want to be. And like since I'm still like I'm nearing my 20s, I'll be 20 in like 2 months or so. So I guess I'm just trying to take the journey and like follow like take it one step at a time, uh, and not stress too much. Like and also live in the moment as well. Recently, I guess I've been a little down, um, and I guess it also has to do with like growing up as well. Um, it's kind of hard because my life in high school was a little like very different to what it is now, and I'm just also still trying to make that adjustment, and it's a little hard to figure everything out and become more mature, become an adult. So that is something that I'm trying to figure out. And yeah, just trying to explore new hobbies. One thing I like about university is that I can do a little bit more of what I want to do, figure out myself, whether like it's explore a new hobby, a new club at school, a new event at school. And I really like how Waterloo has a lot of engaging like events and activities and extracurriculars that you can be a part of. I'm sure there's better like or there's more opportunities at other schools, but I like how like student involved everything is, and a lot of things are like student ran. So it's cool to see how people like continue these events and continue like throughout the generations of different students who come. They kind of just take over the club when everyone else graduates. So yeah, so it's cool to see that. It's cool to join these clubs. I've joined a lot of like dance clubs that I really like. I'm trying to get myself involved in more dance and express myself through dance a little bit because I feel like it's helped me in a sense. I feel like also too I'm a person who I'm very confused about what I want and what who I am, because especially in like high school too, um, I've always kind of I felt like I've just like looking back, I feel like I followed the crowd and I just tried to be someone that was liked by everyone, and I like people pleased a lot. Um, and I feel like now, like definitely going through university, it's a different experience, and also like these things might be kind of obvious, but when you're actually experiencing it, it's a little shocking. Like to experience everything, um, and really cope with it, because I guess also I think I am a very like independent person, but I guess I always relied on my friends for company, especially because like I'm an only child, so I never really had. I mean, I also, I have a half sisters and half siblings, and I spent a lot of time with my half sister as well growing up. So I did get the best of both worlds, but being an only child, I have to kind of always find my own hobbies and like try to like do things like entertain myself. So I think I've done a good job and I found hobbies that I enjoy doing. And yeah, but I guess all in all, just being confused about my future, which I think is normal at my stage of life. Like I'm not even like in my 20s yet, so it's kind of like it's not always expected to know what you want to do. But it is hard to figure out what you want to do, especially if like you've always kind of been a follower, or like you've never really thought about it. I've always had ideas. Like I've always wanted to do something, maybe like actress, YouTuber. Like I've looked up to a few YouTubers. I followed a lot of YouTubers growing up, and like I still watch them now. So it's cool to see their journey of how they started and then where they are now. And I've always been like a kid who's loved to like I'm a visual learner. I love visual like like I love to visualize things. I love to imagine things. I really loved I was entertained by like anything you'd put on the screen. And then I loved YouTube as well. Like growing up, YouTube, like and watching YouTubers was like a big thing that I really love to do, and I still love to do. Like if I'm having like a bad day or I'm not feeling too great mentally, I literally turn on YouTube and just scroll and watch YouTube videos, and like that kind of cheers me up. So I feel like wanting to do something like that is cool, and I think it would definitely fit in with my lifestyle, because for me, in terms of like a career or a job, like work life balance is very important to me, especially now because I am in my second year of university and I'm in my co-op term right now, and I have a remote job at Sun Life, and I it's kind of cool to get to stay home and work from home, because I kind of feel like I work best that way. Like I don't know if I'd like to spend like a 9 to 5 at an office. Like I just doesn't appeal to me, and I know it doesn't appeal to most people. But work life balance is a very big thing for me, and I think if I could find something that would allow me to not have to be in an office all day, or I have more flexible hours, or potentially work remotely. I do really like to engage with people, so I wouldn't want to pick something that I couldn't interact with others, but something that is more like I can do my own thing at the same time. That's what I'm trying to look for. So, doing a little bit of research, like searching up YouTube videos online and seeing what other people are doing and good, like pros and cons to a certain job, because psychology was a big thing that I wanted to get into, like coming into university especially. That's what I was applying for. But now it could just be I'm not enjoying psychology. It could be that I'm not able to learn it the way I want to or do as well as I want to right now. So maybe I'm falling short on it, and it's kind of discouraging me from pursuing it. Or it could just not be something that I thought it would be. And I guess, looking at YouTube videos as well, people talking about their lives, it does seem cool in theory. Like, I do want like helping people, or I think I like helping people, and like maybe talking about their issues. And I always loved communication, and think I'm good at communication. So, like, interacting with other people is something I like in my career. But the more I think about it, the more I compare how I am in my real life. Like, I think to myself, how do I approach a situation with a friend or like a family member if they're going through something and they maybe want advice, or like, am I quick to give them advice? Am I quick to want to help them? Am I like almost bothered by their struggles? Am I stressed out about their struggles? These are things that I think about, and I'm like, as a psychologist, I'm gonna have to be helping people with their issues. Is this something I want to do long term? Is this something am I going to be stressed out about? Am I going to grieve about their issues? Am I going to be thinking about their issues? Is it going to affect me? And a lot of the time I think that it might affect me in a negative way. So, not too certain now about psychology, especially since I'm not really doing as well, which I feel like I can always improve in that. I just might have to learn how to study or grasp concepts or apply my knowledge a little bit better. And I feel like there's always room for that to grow. But now I'm starting to explore other things. And I also like how my program is very broad. Like, the arts and business program here is very broad, and I'm happy that I chose that program, because like, instead of sticking to psychology, and like the more I think about it, the more I'm like, okay, maybe I was meant to come to Waterloo. Maybe I was meant to join this program and have like a more broader field of things. And maybe I'm meant to meet the people I'm meant to meet, because they'll kind of open my eyes to other things and exploring other things. So, especially my co op job, too, I think it was a really good job for my first co op term, because I'm kind of able to speak to people, have different coffee chats with people, talk a little bit more about what they do and their past and how they got to where they got to, and like different things that they were interested in, like what worked for them, what didn't work for them. So I'm just trying now to really explore, and I think I'm becoming closer to, or I'm getting closer to what I potentially may want to do. Like, I'm looking at even entrepreneurship, and I'm also even like jot noting down different ideas that I have, maybe how to implement them, the like them in more specifics, like writing them in more specifics to try and emulate my like ideas, or like what I see all around me, what can be changed, what can be improved, what can be more efficient, things like that. I guess also too, there are a lot of things that I need to work on, especially like in terms of like my work ethic, in terms of my procrastination, in terms of like my passion, especially passion. and motivation because I tend to not really have a passion because I'm just not, I don't find myself passionate in anything. So it's hard for me to really love something. And that's also why I don't really know what I want to do right now because don't, I'm not passionate about anything. And everything that I think about doing, there's always going to be cons, and I know that, but it's almost kind of preventing me from wanting to pursue it because there's some things I might not like about it. So it's hard for me, and I know that like not everything's going to be perfect, especially like when I'm choosing something to do. There's always going to be things that I won't like, but I'm just trying to come to terms with it and know that there'll be things that I don't like, but hopefully the pros will outweigh the cons, and I'll end up ultimately loving it, and I'll get help on the things I don't like, and like I'll learn to love the things I don't like, or I'll learn to improve my skills or improve my like competencies in what I is hard for me, what I don't like, and I'm just trying to find something that suits my lifestyle. And I know that I'm probably not gonna find it's not here now, and I don't know now, but I think I'm on the right track. Um, I guess going back to like, I feel like a lot of my interests fall within the public eye in a sense, and I don't really. It's hard for me to pursue it because I don't really want to be in the public eye. Like, I think it's a very toxic environment and it can be very toxic, and I just don't really want to deal with that. But I don't know, I'm just trying to experiment with things, and even I've even thought recently about starting a podcast, which is kind of weird, but I don't really know. I'd just be yapping. I'd probably have subjects as well to talk about, but no, that is an idea, and I'm just trying to explore ideas. So I'm very optimistic though. I think that things will work out for me, but I'm kind of just not in a waiting game, just trying to figure things out. And I know it won't all happen at once, but yeah, that's kind of where I am right now in terms of worrying about the future, what I want to do in the future. Sometimes I even wonder, like, why am I still in school? I see the pros and the cons of being in school. I think the pros outweigh the cons. The only thing I would say regarding a con is that I'm kind of spending so much money and going into debt. Normal things that a university student would experience, but I'm just like worried about that too because I'm like, what if it's all for nothing? Like a lot of things that I find myself gravitating to don't you don't usually need like a degree in university for that. Like acting, you don't really need a degree. Like YouTube, even like digital marketing, those kind of things. You don't really need a degree for those kind of things. And I think I might want to do something more on the artsy side of things. So it's hard for me to sometimes I'm like, oh, I want to drop out kind of thing. But I honestly think some of the pros of being in university too is especially because I'm in such a broad program, I get to explore. And honestly, going on the term of like gap years and stuff, like I could take a gap year, but I also don't think I'm the kind of person to use a gap year efficiently. I feel like if I take a gap year, then I'm just gonna waste time. Because right now, even in my co op job, like I'm not very busy right now. I'm not really doing too much. A lot of my team is very busy, and my basically I work on a task to task basis. So I work 9 to 5, and it's remote, but sometimes like people in my team like assign me tasks, like little tasks, and that's what I can honestly get it done in like a day or less, like a few hours. Like they're pretty simple. It's nothing too hard, which I'm kind of relieved because I'm always worried that I'm not going to be qualified for these kind of jobs. So I'm kind of relieved that this is my first co op term and I can kind of take it easy and not have to worry about doing too like things too complicated that I can't handle it. And I'm also happy that I'm not too busy and I can kind of take the time to like do things that I like do hobbies that I like, and like I just did a Fashion for Change showcase, and it was really fun, and like going to rehearsals after work was really fun, and I can do these kind of things, and I even have the entire weekend to do what I want to do. And I had like intramural, like volleyball, basketball, and I was doing like more rehearsals. And it was just a way for me to get out of the house or get out of my apartment and see people, meet people. So it was really fun. And I'm sad that it's over. But, I still have like UW hip hop sessions, and I might have like UW street dance sessions if I want to, and I can even start exploring more clubs as well. But yeah, so those are also good things, good pros, and I get to just do a lot of exploring. So that's what I want and I like to do, and that's what I think is gonna get me closer to figuring out what I want to do with my life. So I'm ultimately happy that I'm in university because I don't think that I would use my time wisely during a gap year. I think a lot of the time I kind of will just sit around and, you know, my routine would be like I am a night owl, so I'd sleep late and then I would wake up and then like work out. Like I wouldn't really do much with my day. I kind of and like be on my phone. Like I would just be because sometimes I find that it's similar to what I'm doing now. Like, so, because I don't have like a bunch of schoolwork to get done. Like, I have like a PD1 course for co op that I have to do, but like, you get like assignments like every like 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Like, it's really not, probably 2 weeks. It's not that hectic. And so I have a lot of downtime, and but a good thing I also really like is I can stay home and I can it's allowing me to like eat healthier, cook more, make my own meals during like study term. I have to meal prep, and that kind of takes a while to meal prep and pack everything up for the next day because I'm usually on campus the entire day. So actually being home is kind of nice because I don't have to always be like meal prepping, and I also eat like a lot more things like dairy, and I don't like to pack that in my bag and leave it in my bag for long hours without it being like refrigerated. So yeah, like meal prepping is kind of hard, and this allows me to eat healthier. I still try to eat healthy like during um study term because I don't really eat out a lot. I just like buy a few things, maybe from like the little markets in school, but like a salad or like some eggs or something, or snacks or like drinks. But yeah, I really like staying home and being able to cook. more. And yeah, so far so good. I still have a good 3 years to, and I already picked my courses for my next term. And I'm also now decided to minor in psychology and minor in, it's called DAC, like DAC, and I think it stands for digital art communications, and it's a minor, and it's similar to like a major that we also have at Waterloo called GBDA, which is Global Business and Digital Art. So that sounded cool when people were describing that to me. And I feel like this is like the mini version of it. So I'm minoring in psychology, minoring in digital art communication, and then technically my major is liberal arts. So honestly, I think that's kind of the best option for me right now. And I it is kind of scary though, because if in the end I do want to decide to do psychology after all, I won't have a lot of the qualifications, so I might have to take more courses, or I might have to catch up. And you know, with a minor in psychology, I can't really go to do my master's if I wanted to. But I also am not really too sure if psychology is my what I want to do. So I'm kind of taking a risk, and I'm still doing it, but I'm not, and it's gonna help me. Could even help me, like if I decide to do business, or I decide to do things like marketing or something. Psychology, having a background in that and a minor will really help me, and it will kind of show that I'm more qualified, because you need to. I feel like psychology would help you in anything. Like if you're in health, if you're in like business, like it will help you. It will just kind of allow, I think it will give you more of a qualification in like an employer's eyes in a way. So I think it is important, but I don't know if I want to rely my entire future on it. So yeah, I hope ultimately though I find something, or I head in the right direction. But this is ultimately what I have for now. And I'm surprised that this video is almost 30 minutes long. I thought I was only going to talk for like 5 minutes. But I went on a rant, as this is a rant. So, yeah, I might hopefully start talking more, journaling in this form. Hopefully, acts as a form of therapy, and hopefully I can get deeper with more topics as I get more comfortable. But this was a trial run, so I think it went pretty well. Yay. It's late. When is it not late? When am I up? When am I not up at a late time? So yeah, I'm probably going to do some reading. I've developed a few healthier habits, even though I still go to bed like really late, but I develop slightly better habits to kind of wind down at night. So probably going to read a little bit and then go to sleep and wake up very late in the day, but it's okay. Oh, I have a little shrimp pillow squishy thing. Yeah, okay. Completed.